cash ain't right, if your cash ain't right, put some cash in your life, put some cash in your life. Cause what's a credit score when you got your cash right? Put some cash in your life, put some cash in your life. If your cash ain't right, if your cash ain't right, put some cash in your life.
YouTube Zodiacs, what's good? It's your favorite Gemini, KashDaGemini, and I am back with another episode of the Cashing Out Show. This is episode 34. I do have Mock Collectibles here with me, and it's kind of crazy because it's in the future. However, it's going to be a good episode. What's going on with you today?
What's up, man? I'm glad that you invited me to be here. Yeah, really looking forward to have a fun talk with you and share a couple things I like to collect with other people. I think it's always interesting to see the collections of other people and how they display it and what they like in general. So I think this is a really nice option.
Yeah.
Let's be here.
Yeah, appreciate it. Definitely not a problem. What time exactly is it over there where you're at? And you're in Germany, is that right?
Yeah, I'm in Germany. It's 9 o'clock and 10 minutes.
Okay.
So
okay.
9:10 p.m.
Yeah, so
So
not
it's
too
still
bad.
pretty early in the evening. So
Okay.
there's no issue with
Yeah,
it
see, that's why I was asking because
going too long. But
I was thinking it was
your
like 1
regular
a.m.
streams start at, I think, 3 a.m. here, and
Oh,
that would
okay.
have been an issue. So that's why we are pre-recording this.
Yeah, no doubt, man. This is the first pre-record. We have some more pre-records going on. Another buddy, Saba. I believe he's in Frankfurt, Germany, if I'm not mistaken.
That's actually really close to me. I only
Okay.
live about 15 minutes from there.
Yeah, and then I have CFO. He's in Taiwan or Singapore, one of the two. So a couple pre-records, but we're still gonna make them as interesting as we can.
Yeah, sure.
The crazy thing about getting you on here is, when I first started throwing YouTube videos up and I'd put the links on the Facebook groups, you'd be like the one person that would be like giving me like pointers and, hey man, you got to do this to make it better. And I actually appreciated that from you. I don't know if you remember that, but I
Yeah, of
definitely
course I
do.
remember. I'm always glad if I'm able to help someone out, I think especially in this community, it's important to watch out for each other
Hmm.
and just help each other in general. And I think that's what I really like, especially about the international community. I feel like most people are really good at helping other people and just trying to connect with each other. And that's also a fun part of the hobby. Of course, there's always some people that are a bit different, but the most persons I met were pretty cool.
Yeah. Speaking of that, like, have you had any bad interactions in the community in terms of maybe like a cell gone bad or something broken?
Well, I got into unlicensed statues not too long ago, and I had some issues with the typical things like stuff being a bit warped because of the temperature differences and other small problems like that, which are easy fixes most of the time.
Hmm.
Um, but I got a statue a few days ago where it had an upside down magnet in one of the arms.
Oh wow.
And it was a pain in the ass to fix it because you basically had to heat it, then cut around the magnet, then use a knife to scrape it out and glue everything back in. And yeah, it was a bit of a frustrating experience.
Yeah, no
But
doubt.
other than that, I've been fine with most of my statues.
Okay.
No big issues so far.
And for you, when it comes to collecting, how do you actually obtain your statues, being in a different country? Is it locally or?
I'm mostly using shops from Europe. I try to
Okay.
stay within Europe because of customs and everything.
Yeah.
And sometimes I buy from Germany, but a lot of times it's a bit cheaper to go with a shop from Belgium or the Netherlands or France. They usually have a bit lower prices, especially on sideshow pieces.
Okay.
And that's what I mostly collect when it comes to comic book characters. But I
Okay.
always check and compare if the prices are which price is the best, basically.
Yeah, yeah, okay, I can see that. So kind of like, no different than web browsing, just making sure you're not overspending essentially.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And out of all the, statue companies out there, Prime One, Sideshow, whoever you can think of to name, what are some of your favorites to either, even if you don't purchase them, just some of your favorite pieces of work that you've seen out there?
Well, out of the ones I actually purchased, it's definitely Sideshow because I think you get a really good value for the price you pay.
Hmm.
I never had any issues, and I mostly collect the comic version, so there don't have to be any super realistic details or anything. And from the other brands I admire from far away,
Yeah.
it's probably XM Studios. I think they're doing an insane job with their pieces, and they're all very detailed and they just look amazing.
Is it just harder to obtain XM Studios
Yeah,
pieces?
it's really difficult to get XM Studio pieces. I've seen, I think, one shop from the Netherlands that
Hmm.
sells some from time to time, but it's usually just they're selling it for other customers. So they're selling the collections they bought. They're not able to order it or anything like that. So it's nearly impossible to get XM Studio piece, I would say.
Okay.
Or if
Okay.
you can find them, they're really expensive.
Yeah, no doubt. If there was one or two XM pieces that you could get, what are those two pieces?
That's a tough question. I really like the white Magneto.
Oh, okay.
I think
Yeah.
that one was crazy, especially with the bass
Yeah.
and all the things going on inside of the background. And I was thinking about getting the XM Wolverine because one of the stores had it for a really decent price, but I wasn't too sure about the portrait,
Yeah.
so I decided to skip it for now in case I find another one I like. But
Now,
that one,
now,
that one is insane.
does him wearing the white suit, which he briefly had, comic wise, does this bother you?
Not really. I think,
Okay.
I think, of course, it could be a different outfit or whatever, but I think the white makes it pop a bit more,
Yeah.
makes it stand out a bit more, especially because you see a lot of the other versions. And I think it's just a great way how they make it work with the rocket in the
Oh
front and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely it's a great piece of work. It's a really great piece of work. You have multiple portraits, the different swap outs. So it's one of those pieces of art from XM that is very impressive. I actually have a buddy, Casual. He purchased this and he actually got it painted, by the doctor. Uh, to reflect the, obviously the color that most people know Magneto for, and even that as a repaint looks very good as well.
Yeah, I'm sure you can do a lot of things with it. I've seen some crazy custom paint jobs
Hmm.
in some of these groups on Facebook.
Yeah, no doubt, man. That's one of those ones that's just It's crazy. Like I actually, I actually possibly will still be getting that one from a buddy actually. Really great deal, and it's one of those things where it's like, do you not get it because it is wearing the white suit? But as a huge Magneto fan, it's also like, well, that's just a different interpretation of the character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think especially if you already have a Magneto in a different outfit or so, this
Yeah,
one is definitely a great addition to the collection. But of course, if you want the one you've grown up with or a different design you prefer more, I can get why people would have an issue with that.
yeah, yeah. Seriously, no, I understand that completely. When I think about things that you grew up with, I kind of feel like that's really where I'm gravitating towards in my collection. Like it has to have some sense of nostalgia, some sense of like, oh, I remember being a kid, watching that cartoon.
Yeah, I know
Uh, you
exactly what
know,
you mean. Yeah, I do that with my comic character statues.
hmm
Um, I grew up in the 90s with the classic X-Men animated series and the
yeah,
Spider-Man series and stuff like that. So I mostly want to collect characters from that time at least with my comic collection, but for everything else I'm just okay if I like it enough to buy. There doesn't
yeah,
have to be any attachment or something. If it looks good to me and fits in my collection, there's only a few pieces in my collection that really have a nostalgic value, I think.
okay. So question. Let's say you only have so much room, but let's say
Yeah, I'm getting to that point.
you you like Batman, you like Spider-Man, you like like just multiple, I guess you could say, characters where you have their villains, their partners, whatever. If you have to pass on like is it okay to know like, hey, even though I really like Batman, I most likely won't have room for it because other stuff's more important. Is that okay? You know?
That's a tough question.
I know.
I'm currently looking for a good Wolverine that fits into my collection, and I had the same issue. Um, I've seen the CO signature bust they did.
Oh
I'm not
yeah.
sure if you've seen that. And I thought about getting this one, but I just don't have the room, even though it would look amazing in my collection, but I don't know where to put it.
hmm
And I'm still trying to figure out a way to make it work. And yeah, it's hard to pass, but sometimes you just have to do it, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
there's no need in buying a statue if you can't display it properly.
oh, okay, so question. If there's an entire line and this universe isn't going anywhere, let's say Jurassic Park, or like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, one of those bigger
Yeah,
franchises they're gonna be around forever.
yeah,
Isn't it
definitely.
okay to still collect them, open up the box, make sure nothing's broken, put it back in the box, and maybe you move in 5 years?
Yeah, sure, it's
I
okay.
mean,
Uh, it just wouldn't be something for me.
that's how I
I
feel,
think
but
it's okay if people have more plans, but uh, I've been trying to find a bigger apartment and stuff like that, and it's really difficult. So I
yeah.
just try to limit myself to the things I can actually display.
Yeah, and
And I
I
mean,
think that would
there's more than enough stuff that I like, so I will always have something I want to buy, probably.
Yeah, because before I moved, I had, I had on the side of my bed, I had a bunch of statues like in front of the closet, and they stayed in the box. and I knew I was moving, but it was 8 months away. So for the first 8 months of my collecting journey, everything was boxed up, and
Oh man.
it sucked because you knew you had these amazing things other than
Yeah,
taking them out to
but you
make sure they
just
weren't broken.
can't look at them. Yeah,
Can't look at them,
that's
and
the
then you got
big
to put them
issue with
right
that.
back. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. So I do get what you're saying there.
Yeah,
If it can't,
I can
yeah,
totally understand why people do that, especially because some of the aftermarket prices and
yeah,
other things like that. But it would be hard for me to even find a spot for just the box, even if I
the box,
can't
yeah.
display the statue at all, you know?
So speaking of boxes, do you keep your boxes for the resale value, to be able to resell
Not
them
for the resale value, but in case I have to move.
in case you have to
Because I
move?
think
Okay.
it's easier to make sure that nothing breaks because everything fits in the foam
Yep.
perfectly.
Yep.
That's the main reason for me to keep the boxes.
Okay. So if you do decide to move, will you be looking for something a tad bigger for
Yeah,
more
definitely.
pieces?
Definitely. I
Okay.
currently have a one room apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and that limits a lot, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it would be nice to get something bigger, especially because I would also like to get a second dog at some point. And yeah, my apartment would be way too small for that.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, seriously, man. I hope that does happen for you, sometime in the future. It's always nice having more room, even if you don't have anything for the more room, just to know you have it, in case anything in the future.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, kind of going back to the beginning, you as a child, as a youngster, what were some of the characters that you actually grew up with?
I was mostly reading Spider-Man comics when I
Okay.
was growing up. But like I said, I also watched the animated series of the X-Men and Spider-Man and Batman, of course.
Yeah.
And those were my first my first comics I had and the first time I got in contact with that.
Okay. So from being a child to now being a grown up, looking back on it, what was the best animated series? Was it Batman or X-Men?
That's a tough question. I I rewatched the X-Men animated series I think a few years ago,
Okay.
but I don't remember that much from the Batman series anymore. I might have to rewatch that again.
Yeah.
But I think I like the X-Men series the most because you had a lot of different characters, and
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone that watched the show found a character they could identify with,
Oh yeah, for sure. For
and
sure.
that's to me the big difference between the other animated series from that time. So you had a lot of variety, but of course I also love the Spider-Man and Batman series.
The crazy thing about the Spider-Man series is I don't think since then we as fans have actually seen all those characters together on screen. I don't think that's happened, and I'm not sure if it ever will happen because of licensing and other things. Like, there's characters that maybe one day in the future, but I don't see it anytime in the short future.
Yeah, I don't think enough of the characters are well known enough to do something
Yeah,
like that. I mean,
yeah,
they always have to think about the people buying it or watching it or whatever. So that's always an issue. I'm glad that we got an animated movie at least. I think it would be cool to see more Marvel animated movies. I
hmm
think the DC ones are pretty good, especially compared to the one with real actors. At least some of them. I always liked the DC animated movies. I just wish that
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Marvel would do something like that. It would be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. The DC animated movies are really good. Like they are really, really good. And like you said, like I definitely wish Marvel would do something like that. I'm not sure why they don't. Because DC,
Yeah,
like people
I
are
don't
always looking
understand it
for them.
either, especially because they can do so much more stuff when it's animated, I think.
Yeah. I'm just trying to pull up a couple now just to share real quick. Let me see here. Like just from going to like actually take a look at the this is on HBO Max. Like this is the old Superman show. And I remember watching this one here.
I'm not sure if I watched it.
Yeah, like it's so much that's on here, and like look at all these other ones. Batman Beyond, Green
Yeah, there's
Lantern,
a
like
bunch
there's
of series.
so many. So many. Um Batman the animated series for me was like the intro alone was just it was so amazing seeing the intro. X-Men, like I like the theme song. Everybody
Yeah,
just knows that damn jingle, man.
I think this was a big thing with 90s animated series that they always had a really good intro.
Oh yeah,
Just like
yeah,
the Turtles intro and stuff like that.
yep, yeah, no doubt. Was there any other family members or friends that that you watch this stuff with, or just by yourself?
Mostly by myself, but
Okay.
I had a few friends that got into comics a bit later. So I had a few people I could talk to about all that stuff that's happening in the comics. So
What
that
what do
was
you what do you like? Okay? How do I phrase this? Because obviously comics were a thing of the past as well as the present.
yeah, definitely.
Do you feel like you actually like comics more than statues because it's something you grew up with?
I think to me it's the art in general that matters,
Okay.
whether it's the comic or a well executed statue. I think I appreciated both the same way. Even though I've been selling a lot of my single issues to be able to afford the resin statues.
Yeah.
Um, but I couldn't decide what I like more. I think it's always interesting if you just change your focus from time to time. For example, I used to collect single issues for a few years, and then I got more into mangas and statues and stuff like that. So it was just natural that I just take a break for a while from collecting comics. But I still like what I have, and I would probably like to get more.
Yeah, man. I actually just started collecting comics, due to the groups, and I'll show you the first mistake I made. All right, I'll show you the first mistake I made. So these are my first two comic books that I ever purchased in my life.
Okay.
Now, I didn't know anything about bagged and boards, and I didn't know anything about that. But I picked up these two covers right here. I'll just see if I can full screen it real quick. So I picked up both of these. This is the Detective Comics number 1054. Again, it's not bagged and boarded. I didn't know anything about that when I first went in here. This is Libra Mayhew's cover of Detective Comics number 1055.
Yeah,
Variant cover, by the way.
the cover is dope. I think I've seen it before.
Yeah, and I didn't know anything about getting stuff bagged and boarded. Like, I thought you just bought the comic. I mean, because the guys at the counter, they didn't tell me anything. But obviously, when I came back, I knew all about that. And then I picked up these. I'll show you this cover real quick here. This is something I'm really into is Predator.
That's dope. I always wanted to get
Yeah,
some more Dark Horse stuff, but I
yeah,
never got around to it.
yeah. This is
I
Dark
always had
Horse number 4.
too many other things to buy, so I never got the
Yeah.
chance to stack up on some more Dark Horse comics.
Oh, right here. This is Rogue.
Yeah, that's a dope one too.
Uh, this is Leno, I believe, is the artist. Leno, pretty cool. And then this last one is Dustin Weaver. And like I said, this is my first time even buying comics. This is White Magneto. Kind of goes with that statue that I was
Yeah,
talking about getting.
that's one hell of a
Yeah,
cover.
yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's dope.
Let's see. Yeah, I actually got 2 more. So here's the oh, sorry, the light reflection. Trying to get it to not mess up. Vision and Scarlet Witch, Lovers and Zombies. This is the first of 12 limited edition series that they were doing, so that's pretty cool. Then this last one here is Uncanny X-Men, and you can see all the villains, the Brotherhood of the Sabretooth and Mystique there in his helmet. So I thought that was really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, I love artworks like that, where they just
Yeah,
include other things to make it a one picture or something like that.
yeah. So yeah, those are my newest pickups, but I think getting comics are great, especially for the artwork. Obviously, like, so how does it go for you? Do you have a set that you just buy for the art and you set aside so they don't get damaged, and then you have a set that you actually buy to open and read, or how do you do it?
I read everything I buy, whether it's a new comic or, I don't know, 30, 40 years old. I mean, you want to see what you bought, you know? A lot of times you see pictures online and you don't know if it's the way it should be if you don't go through the pages. So that's my main reason to check everything I have. And I just like reading the comics I get. Of course, I'm careful with them, and I
Yeah.
bag and board them, and I have Mylar bags, so I
Hmm.
don't have to switch them from time to time. And yeah, but I read everything I buy.
Yeah, definitely get that there. Yeah, like I said, this is my first introductory to it, and I actually picked up this right here because I wanted the omnibus, but I decided to go with Masterworks, the Mighty Marvel Masterworks. Pretty much has a bunch of the comics in the back here, that kind of shows you everything that's in the book. So you get about 10 issues. So I didn't think that was too bad, and it's about 300 pages, and just kind of go through them and read them.
Yeah, that's pretty good. As
Yeah,
you as you saw, I also like to collect paperbacks and single issues.
yeah,
Um, it started with paperbacks because they were easier to get in Germany,
hmm,
especially when I just started collecting again.
okay,
I think I stopped collecting as a kid when I was 14 or so, and I got back into it in uh, I think 8 years ago.
okay,
And so I mostly got paperbacks when I started. I got some in German, some in English, um, depending on the availability a bit. But when I started collecting single issues, I mostly went with the English ones.
okay, cool. So just to ask as well, and we obviously have some pictures to show, so I'll definitely bring those up in a little bit. But because you are in a different country, my mother, my great grandmother, she's the one who raised me, and I consider her my mother. Her husband had took her to Germany as a I believe it was like a I don't know, like a getaway, or I don't know. They did
Okay.
something, you know what I mean? And they had a very good time. She talked about how how she loved being there. It was fun, everything. As a person who's never been there, what are some of the attractions there? What's some of the good food? How's the weather? How's the weather there?
The weather is a mess right now. um, it's summertime now in Germany,
Okay.
but yeah, of course, it's snowing in a lot of places,
Oh wow.
which shouldn't be normal, but somehow it still is, and it's been pretty stormy for the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So the weather changes a lot. One day you can just walk around in a shirt, and the next day you need a winter jacket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but what I like, especially because I live close to Frankfurt, which is one of the big cities in Germany, is that you find a lot of things from all the different cultures. There's a lot of Turkish people and um, people from Italy and wherever. You can find everything you want, and that's what I like about being that close to a big city. And yeah, you can basically enjoy every nation's food, and I
Yeah.
think that's a cool thing. What's really popular in Germany is döner. I'm not sure if you heard of it.
Nah,
It's
never.
kind of like shawarma.
Never heard of that either.
It's a Turkish dish where they just have meat on a rotisserie and cut it thin,
Oh.
and it gets crispy, and they put it in a bread with some sauce and salad and everything.
Oh yeah. So my fiance is from El Salvador, and it's kind of sounds like something that they eat there in Central America. Um, it's kind of like a I don't know how to explain it. Kind of like a sandwich type.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
I think a lot
yeah,
of countries have something similar
yeah,
like that. It's just usually a different kind of meat or something.
yeah. Cool, man.
And
Cool. Yeah,
yeah,
that sounds pretty cool, man. All right, cool. Yeah, I know. Like, I definitely want to do a lot of traveling in the future and be able to explore different places, around the world. Like, I want to go to Germany, Italy. Um,
have you ever been to Europe?
no, I've never been to Europe. Never. I've never actually left the country. Um, yeah, you know what's crazy as far as even being in the United States of America, I don't even think I've been to a fourth of the states here in
Well,
this country.
it's a huge country though.
Yeah, and that's something I actually want to do. Like one year, like I want to be able to travel all 50 states or however many damn states we got, 51,
Like a
52. I don't
road
even know,
trip
man.
or
Yeah,
just
like I want to do
yeah, that's
that in
dope.
like, but over like a 2 year span. I don't want to cram it into a year, over a 2 year span, and just have like once a month go to each state once a
Yeah,
month and just have
that's
fun,
dope.
man.
That's dope.
Yeah,
Definitely a cool idea.
yeah, and even when it comes to the hobby, be able to go to every state, check out at a comic shop, or maybe they happen to be having a convention going on at that time. You don't have to necessarily buy anything, but just to have a good time and
Yeah,
see what
just
they
checking it
have to
out,
offer.
maybe
Yeah,
meeting some people,
yeah.
and yeah, just have a good time in general.
And speaking of meeting people, obviously the world had a big setback with the health stuff going on the last year or
Yeah.
two. Has that affected Germany in terms of collecting, or not as much since you get it locally?
In terms of collecting, I would say it's probably less affected than the US.
Okay.
I didn't have any issues, but I know that uh, some packages, especially from China, uh, got delayed a lot. So
Hmm.
they also have different regulations and stuff like that for the lockdown. I think
Yeah.
some places in China are back on lockdown again, so it will be interesting to see how that affects the production and the shipping in general.
Yeah.
But other than that, everything's been going pretty smooth with shipping and stuff like that, I would say.
Yeah.
But
Pretty
it
much.
was a crazy time.
Oh yeah.
We went on lockdown a few times,
Hmm.
and in my opinion, they always opened it too early again. So as soon as it was starting to get good, they just opened everything, and it got worse again, which was pretty messed up. And especially the smaller stores that had to close are
Oh yeah. A
having
lot of those
huge
here
issues
too.
with it, especially restaurants and
Yep.
bars and stuff like that.
Yep.
But it seems like it's slowly getting back to normal now. We don't have to wear masks anymore when you're inside. So that's a new thing that happened in the past month or so.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But in
Yeah.
the end, there's nothing you can do about it anyway. You know, you gotta do your best to protect yourself and others, and just try to make the best out of it.
Yeah. I can certainly agree with that. I feel like shipping has been the one thing that's probably been affected the most, especially the heavier items, the bigger stuff, or the stuff that's coming from farther out in China, or even some Prime One stuff coming from like Japan. Um,
Yeah, I've seen some posts about it on Facebook too. Especially when I compare it to the delivery times to Europe, it's a lot worse in the US. I think there was a problem with the ships not being able to unload or something in the US.
mhm.
And we didn't have any issue like that. So I think I got my last statue from China in about 50 days.
Oh wow,
Before
okay,
even before COVID, it usually took 2 or 3 months.
yeah,
So it seems like it's going a lot better, at least to Europe. But I also
yeah,
read that some people have been waiting for 6 months for packages to arrive in the US. So it's still a mess.
yeah. The longest I've waited is 4 months, and that was for that Predator I recently unboxed. I waited 4 months for that. So that was a long wait for me. I was just like, man, I'm not used to this. Like four
Yeah, I
months, like,
totally
oh
understand.
man, like that was a long wait. But it got really bad over here in terms of like, even house stuff outside of collecting. Like my aunt bought a refrigerator, and just for her refrigerator, it took 6 months to come.
Yeah,
We're all
it's
out of refrigerators here.
yeah, we had a lot of problems like that too. Like I was planning to get some furniture and stuff like that,
Oh yeah, man.
but
Yeah.
especially a new chair. But because people started working in home offices,
Yep.
of course, everyone was buying a chair,
The chairs,
and
the
you couldn't get anything
monitors,
for months. Yeah,
nothing. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, stuff like
Even t
electronics.
even
Electronics are hard to get because of
even
the parts
TVs
from
were
China.
gone.
Yeah, it's
Like people
crazy.
were using the TVs for monitors, so like all the small TVs were gone because they needed them for work as like a replacement to a monitor. And like, I mean, I think we waited like 2 months for our couch at that time. Like
Yeah, I
it was
feel
like,
like
wow, man.
every time something like that happens, people just go full on crazy. I
Yeah.
realized that recently too, because some of the food that you usually have
Hmm.
enough in the stores all the time were just sold out for weeks, like oil and just regular flour because people were buying it for whatever reason and stacked up on everything. So the stores had to limit the numbers each customer is able to buy. But they just don't learn.
And like something that was crazy is like I don't know if it was just here in the States, man, but like people, since they were at home, everybody was at the hardware store, like doing like yard work and stuff. You know what I mean? Like fixing the roof. Or
Yeah,
like,
fixing
mean,
all the stuff you couldn't do when you weren't home. Yeah.
yeah. I was like, man, dude, like the grocery stores were like deserted. There was no cereal, no, no milk, no, like there was no water.
Toilet paper was a
Toilet
pretty big
paper.
thing here too.
Yeah, toilet paper. If I can find this picture I took, I'm gonna see if it, maybe she has it in her phone, but like we finally got stocked up. And I mean like I had like okay, like you see how I have this corner of like Blu-rays behind me?
Yeah.
I had like a whole corner of like toilet paper, paper towels, Lysol. Like I'm, because I was like, dude, I'm never gonna be able to find this. So I took like $300, and I'm just like, screw it, it's here. I gotta just buy it. So
Yeah, it's better
that's
than
my
missing out.
pandemic story. Yeah, man, for sure. Well, yeah, let me go ahead and bring up these pictures, and we'll get into that. Let's see here. So, this very first one here is your logo, man. Mock Collectibles. So, how did you come up with the name?
I just, yeah, I don't really know. It just kind of happened, I would say.
Yeah.
I knew MUC, MOC is usually mint on card or stuff like that. You know, it's a common term in the collectors community. And I just thought it would be a nice fit, even though it stands for something different.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah,
I've been
definitely.
doing a lot of graphics design for the past 15 years or so. So pretty much half of my life I'm mostly doing album covers and shirt
Oh,
designs and
really?
stuff like that. So I'm glad I can do that stuff on my own.
Speaking of that, because like I always make all the thumbnails, the banners, and all the stuff that I use on YouTube. Just to kind of make it a little bit easier opposed to spending money. Like you said, and it's pretty cool. And I definitely want to like come up with some sort of T-shirts and stuff. I said as soon as I hit 1,000 subscribers, which we're about 600 right now. I said as soon as I hit 1,000, I'll have some shirts made. So if people want to get some, or I can just give them away for during giveaways or whatnot. We'll have a cool design. Maybe throw the logo on there or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely cool to have something like that.
Yeah.
Especially if people ask for something like that, they can just get it, you know?
Yeah.
That's the good thing. And shirts or I don't know, caps or merch like that
Caps.
isn't too
Yeah.
expensive in general. So it's something you can do for a pretty good price, I think.
Yeah. 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 That's something I'm gonna definitely be looking into. Like, do you know where to go to get all that stuff made?
I'm not sure because I'm in Germany, so I usually
Yeah.
went with local companies or some companies at least from my country.
Yeah.
But I'm
And see
sure
that.
you'll find enough options basically.
Yeah.
You
And
just
that's a
have to
cool
check if
thing.
the quality is good. But most companies that produce T-shirts will just
Yeah.
send you a sample of it, so you can check it out
Try it out. Yeah.
before sending them uh, the project.
Yeah. Yeah,
and I
no
would
doubt.
always recommend doing that. I remember when I did something a bit of an unusual merchandise piece with one of my friends, and we usually did the shirts all the time
Uh huh.
because we were also both making music. And then we decided to make some ski masks with a dope print, and it was a fucking mess. It was a German shop, but they produced it in Poland. And the first time the size was wrong, and they just, I think they even sent less than they should,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to deal with them for a month or so till they finally agreed on sending a replacement that took another 4 or 5 months to make, uh, which was a pretty big problem. But t-shirts and stuff like that are usually pretty easy to do. It's
Yeah.
just if you have to get something a bit more unique, I guess. It's difficult to find the right people to do stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's one of those things I'm definitely gonna be looking into. In the next upcoming months, I shall say. But yeah, that's definitely cool, man. And this here is it. Let me ask you something first.
Yeah,
Is this where you spend the majority of your time? Is right here?
pretty much.
Yeah.
That's why I have everything I need around me, especially when I want to read something, or even if I just want to do something on my PC, work on
Mm-hmm.
some graphics or music, or even just checking the groups on Facebook or talk to people. I have everything within my reach.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you can
That's
see the
cool.
you can see the trade paperbacks on the left with some prop on top of it. The giant scissor blade from the Killer Kill anime.
Mm-hmm. Yo,
And
so what's this this art print right here?
that's a vinyl I was on.
Oh,
I'm the
cool.
bearded guy in the middle.
Okay, okay.
And yeah, I just thought it would be cool to frame the vinyl, especially because a lot of old school German rappers were on it too. So
Yeah,
people I basically grew up with.
yeah.
And yeah, that's just a
That's
cool
what's
thing
up,
to
man.
have.
So you do the graphic designs. Do you do anything else in terms of music, far as like production wise or anything?
I'm making rap music. I don't do any production, but I'm writing my lyrics and record
Okay.
everything on my own. But I have a friend who does the mixing and mastering
Mm-hmm.
because it
Cool,
would
man.
probably take me so much time to get
Yeah,
half as good as him.
yeah, yeah.
I would never be able to do it that good.
Yeah, and I definitely asked because I obviously I see the foam on the wall, so that
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
means blockage of sound. Yeah,
yeah. You have to do something about the echoes and stuff like that. But
yeah,
the most important part is it's not what's in front of you. It's more about the acoustics on the sides and what's behind you that really
okay.
matter, because that's where it goes back into the microphone.
Oh,
So you
gotcha.
don't really need much in front of you. It's mostly a small panel on top of your uh, on the same height as your head.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you understand what I mean. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
not
yeah. I follow
I'm
you.
not really sure how to say it right now.
Yeah, yeah.
um, but yeah, I read a lot of things about that, and I was sure that I wanted to record at home. I had
Mm-hmm.
some bad experiences with the studios I recorded at because they always missed deadlines and it sounded like shit in the end. So I'm happy if I can do most of the stuff on my own, so you don't have to rely on other people.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's
Especially if you pay for them, you know? Especially if you
oh
go to a
yeah.
professional studio and it still sounds like shit in the end. That's that's what makes this music thing a bit more frustrating, I think. So it's good if you can do pretty much all of it on your own.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw that you're making music too, you know, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Are you
it's
producing or?
no, no, just just recording. I think it's something I'm gonna get back into. I had stopped, but I think it's something that I'm gonna get back into. It definitely, kind of it makes you feel good, when you are doing it and
Yeah,
um,
definitely. Whether
yeah,
it's
have a
something
good time.
whether it's something personal you gotta get off your chest or just
Yep.
something, yeah, something to have fun to or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just cool that you can reach more people with it, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's I just like being creative in general, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's graphics or music or whatever. So
Yeah.
art is definitely a big part of my life. I guess that's why I also like comics and statues so much.
Yeah, art is definitely a big part of that's why I really like the hobby. You know what I mean? It's almost like everything about your life. I almost feel like one's collection, one setup, kind of you can tell a lot about them, as far as what they like, where they're going, things like
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
Is this a shelf to the right here? Is this a like a? Did you build this yourself, or this is something purchased here?
I think it's called a Hafster. It's also from IKEA. I
Oh
mainly
wow.
got this one because the Bestas weren't available at the time because
Yeah.
of COVID.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the way it looks, especially because I was able to put the huge statue with the wings on top of it. I wouldn't been able to make it fit into a Besta or something else anyway, so I think that's a good spot for her.
Yeah. Cool, man. Cool. That's definitely cool.
But I
I
mostly
like
have I mostly have IKEA shelves
IKEA
for my
stuff. Yeah.
collection.
Yeah, I think IKEA has a little bit of everything, for any collection, whether it's bigger or small. They have a little bit of everything.
Yeah, definitely. Especially for every budget too, you know. You can get
Oh yeah,
something
yeah,
that's a bit cheaper, but probably won't hold as much, but you can also get something that's real wood, for example. I
yeah,
like the Hafster is a lot heavier than the taller Bestas because it's real wood instead of the pressed stuff they usually use.
yeah, yeah.
But
Cool,
I never
man.
had any issues with the Bestad either, so I feel like uh, they improved the quality in the past 2 years or so. I
Hmm.
remember having a lot of more problems with the first Besta I got. The adjusting of the doors was just not working as good as on the new ones I recently got. So I'm pretty happy with the quality.
Yeah, that's good. I know a lot of people want those doors, but they're not able to find them too much anymore.
Yeah, I had to get some uh, different doors for the last one I got because I don't think IKEA even has them anymore.
Yeah,
So I had to switch them out. But yeah, that's just, yeah, always the way it goes.
always the way it goes. That's right. That's right.
But you have to be creative and
Yeah.
you'll find a solution somehow.
Where's this Batman from?
It's the Prime One Arkham City Batman
Okay.
from
Okay.
the Arkham
Cool.
video games. It's
Yeah.
one of their 1/5 scale pieces. And
Yeah.
yeah, I really like the video games, and how they did the design of it, and I think I got this for a really good price, so it was hard to pass on.
Yeah, that was one of the greatest video games. Like, I mean, you
Yeah,
were able to like the detective mode, just everything about the game was really cool.
yeah,
Everything.
especially the fighting system.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Most of the new superhero games are similar to that one. Even if you
yeah,
play the Spider-Man games or something, you will realize that it's clearly inspired by the Arkham games.
yeah.
And I think the Arkham games were really good for the most parts. I wasn't a fan of the uh, I'm not sure which one it was, the one where you had to drive around with a Batmobile all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that
one
was
was
messed up.
yeah, yeah,
But I liked all of the other ones.
yeah. That was a different game, but it was cool.
Yeah, it was all
Yeah.
right, but I like the other ones a lot more.
Let's see. And this here, it looks like you have a lot of stuff on the wall. Tell us about these. Some comics?
Yeah, I decided to put up some comics, just some covers I like basically, nothing with a big value, just what I thought would look cool next to each other. And I can't really place any shelves on the wall anyway, so I had the room for it. And I needed the room in my other shelves where I used to store my single issues before. So I think that was a good way to deal with both of it. And you can see uh, some dynamite stuff like the Hack Slash versus Chaos comics, and some image comic stuff like the Rumble comic, which is still one of my favorite comics that came out in the past 5 years or so. I'm not exactly sure when it came out anymore. Um, Especially because you kind of um, lose the feeling for how fast time passes with stuff like COVID and everything. But Rumble was a really good story. It's about an warrior that I think he's fighting the gods, and he gets punished to live in the body of a scarecrow. But
Oh
somehow he
wow.
ends up he ends up in, I think it's New York, or at least something similar to that. And the art style is pretty dark, and the characters all have a graffiti character feeling to it. So that's something you don't see too often, I think, especially with a, yeah, I would say kinda mythological team or whatever. So that was a really good read.
Right. Sounds like it, man. Damn.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah,
definitely
sounds
worth
like
checking
it.
out,
Okay.
especially if you like graffitis and stuff like that too, because the art style is really cool.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Um, yeah, cool. I appreciate the backstory on that because that was it's one of those things you don't know sometimes unless somebody tells you. So that was definitely
Yeah,
something interesting, especially the
especially
scarecrow
with
part.
especially with I wouldn't call Image Comics a smaller publisher,
Yeah,
but I guess you get what I mean. You always see the Marvel comics and the DC stuff, but unless you're already into the Image Comic stuff, you probably won't find out about small titles like that.
yeah. So it looks like we got a little Army of Darkness here. That's a classic now. I
Yeah,
like
that's
I like what I'm seeing here.
those are the Omni editions from Dynamite.
Okay.
Um, I also have some of the trade paperbacks next to it. I was pissed when I got the Omnis though. The quality was really horrible. I'm not sure if they did a second print of it already, but the glue just came loose after flipping the first pages of it, so all the sides were falling out and shit like that. So I had to glue it back together, which was, yeah, not the best experience. But I'm still glad that I got it because I like the story. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I think Army of Darkness was probably one of the first 2 or 3 horror movies I ever watched. And yeah, I still like it, even though it's pretty much always the same story with every paperback, even though the setting is a bit different. But it's just a fun, entertaining read when you don't want to think about too much things.
Yeah, I can certainly see that, man. Army of Darkness is something I actually want to go back and kind of like rewatch. I know they have a TV show as well that they're doing. They're
Yeah, the
yeah.
did you watch the Ash versus Evil Dead series?
I watched half of season 1. It
Okay.
wasn't it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Like I do want to go back and finish it. It wasn't horrible. You know what I mean? It was definitely a good. Something to watch.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it, but it's, yeah, of course it sucks that they just don't finish it.
Yeah.
So the second season, I'm not sure if it's the second or third season.
Hmm.
I'm not sure how many came out. Um, but it just stops at the most interesting point, I think.
Yeah.
But other than that, I really enjoyed watching the show, especially
Yeah.
because they had Bruce Campbell in it.
Oh
So
yeah.
that was a good thing. I think they're working on a different movie, but without him.
Hmm.
I think I remember hearing something like that or reading it somewhere.
So far as this Deadpool here, where is this from? Is this Gentle Giant?
No, it's a,
Oh.
a 1/6 scale bust by Semic Studio. I have a story for that one too.
Hmm.
I originally bought the 1/6 Deadpool statue they made, and I was 100% sure that I was getting scammed by them. I bought the statue, I paid for it via bank transfer because they didn't offer PayPal. And shortly after, I got a bunch of scam messages because the website wasn't secure and somehow my email got used for sending spam mails and shit like that. So I started calling my bank and talked to them whether it's possible to get the money back because they didn't get it yet, but there was nothing they could do. And then when I finally got a package, it was this bust instead of the statue. So they sent me a 50 euro bust instead of the, I think it was 300 euro statue I ordered. And I
Yeah.
thought for sure I'm not getting anything. But
Yeah.
luckily I was wrong. So they actually sent me the right statue after that, and I was able to
Okay.
keep that.
Good. Good.
But man, it was a fucking mess.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a pleasant.
especially
Yeah.
because this was the first resin statue I ordered.
Hmm.
And after that I was thinking about whether I should continue doing this or just stick to the things I already have. Because it was just a messed up experience right from the start, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
I'm happy I continued.
Yeah. No doubt, man. I don't think I've never been in any sort of scenario like that where I get the wrong item. I'm really glad I haven't, but yeah. And I'm trying to zoom in here because how you display yours? Do you display them in any sort of like alphabetical order, any
Yeah,
like reading order?
alphabetical order.
Okay. Yeah.
And within the titles I usually go from the oldest to the newest,
Okay.
if possible.
You know what's crazy? Like, so I had like 2 racks of Blu-rays, right? 2 racks of Blu-ray
Yeah,
movies, and I recently condensed it down to 1 rack of movies that are classics. Movies that if I did put them in, I'd 110% watch them, right? 110%.
yeah,
Because I realized half the ones that I sold, I had them for about 5 years. No, some of them I had for 7 years and they weren't even open. So I'm like, I have these things and they're not. I'm not using them. But what I'm getting at, I digress. What I'm getting at is, imagine having to go back and put them all in alphabetical order like I had to. Oh, it took like 2 hours.
yeah. I know exactly
I'm like, man,
what it
dude.
feels. I still have uh, a bunch of crates with CDs and movies in my basement.
One by one, bro. One by one. I mean,
Yeah,
it takes too long, man.
yeah. Especially if you have a lot of stuff, you know.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, man. This is it's pretty cool, man. Appreciate that. Let's see here. Um, so tell us about this. Is this Masterworks as well, or
Those are my manga shelves.
mangas? Okay. So for
Yeah,
those who
just
don't know what mangas are, what exactly are mangas?
it's basically just Japanese comics.
Japanese
I think
comics.
I
Okay.
think that's the easiest way to explain it to someone who never read one.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like to read a lot of different stuff. Some of it is just some regular shonen, just like, I don't know, Dragon Ball, for example, where they just have cool fight scenes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some of it is a bit more gory and horror stuff. And some of it is just easy entertainment with,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, cool fight
Okay.
scenes, bloods, stupid jokes, and stuff like that.
No doubt. So, what's some of your favorite anime? Like, did you grow up with Dragon Ball Z?
I didn't really get into watching anime until I think 2 or 3 years ago. Of
Okay.
course, when I was a kid, I've seen some Dragon Ball episodes at a friend's place or some One Piece, and I'm not sure what it's called in English. It was a soccer anime. I think it was
Okay.
called uh, Kickers in German, which was pretty popular too, and I liked watching it, but I never cared enough to watch all the episodes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I got into watching anime about 2 or 3 years ago, and I started with, I think it was Killer Kill and Black Rock Shooter, and then Psychopath. Um, yeah, and then I was hooked. You know, Killer Kill was basically just a parody of classic shonen anime and manga. So it was all just some crazy over the top madness and a really unique art style. And yeah, I got some figures of that, and red the huge red blade is also from that series. Um, yeah, but I'm not really too focused on just one genre. I just like watching whatever looks good. I watch anything from typical slice of life anime where you just see people interacting with each other and the everyday
Mm-hmm.
lives and stuff like that, to the most brutal horror shit,
Nice.
everything. If the art style is good and it's well written, I'll probably enjoy it, I would say.
Cool, man. Cool. Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, yeah. Cool, cool. So this is the other side. Now, speaking of horror, are you into horror movies?
Not as much as I used to.
Oh,
I
okay.
used to watch a lot more when I was growing up. I didn't check any horror movies in the past, I don't know, 7 or 8 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's
Did,
because I'm not really feeling frightened, so I don't think
yeah,
there's a point in watching a horror movie if you don't get scared.
yeah, yeah.
It kind of lost its charm to me.
Charm, yeah. I can see that. They definitely aren't as scary. Like before, like there was something about like, is Freddy Krueger real?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
can I really not go to
when you
sleep?
just grow up and watch the movies for the first time and you get scared as shit and can't do
Yep.
anything about it.
Yeah.
That's the feeling you should get when you watch a horror movie.
Yeah. No doubt, man. No doubt. That's that. Yeah. Yeah. So is this the ones that you were talking about that you don't have in order?
No, those are just a few of the single issues I
Okay.
still have left. Just some random comics and a lot of. I think it's mostly German ones in that shelf. Mostly uh, Deadpool and also some Image comics. But like I said, I sold a lot of stuff, and I still have, I think, 2 boxes in my basement because I don't have the room for it right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always a bit difficult to make it look organized and be able to find everything when you just have so much stuff that you have to start storing it somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. I can certainly understand that, and then also I don't. So when it comes to like, okay, when it comes to like getting done, and I mean like you're almost
You're
at the
never done.
end.
You're never done.
I do agree. I agree you are never done, but I welcome it, but I'm also scared of knowing that there will eventually be a time where you have no space. And I think that's what scares me,
Yeah, I totally agree.
is space. Because like you said, you're never done.
Yeah, especially if you like, let's say X-Men, for example, where there's a lot of different characters and you like, I don't know, like even if it's just 3 of them, there's
Yeah.
so many statues that look cool, and yeah, you have to make a decision if you can put it up somewhere or not, you know.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think that's a problem every collector has, no matter
Mm-hmm.
what he likes to collect. Even if it's just small things like, I don't know, Marvel Legends or Funkos, you'll definitely get to the point where you have problems with your space.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure. Hopefully that will. I think I'm good for 2022.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much good for the year too, but after that, I don't know
Yeah. After that,
what's going to
oh
happen.
man. Oh man. Yeah. Definitely by 2025, I'll be trying to move. It's cool though, man. It's cool. So getting into some to some interesting characters here. Tell us a little bit about these.
So this is the best with the anime or anime style figures.
Yeah.
Some of them are original characters, so
Mm-hmm.
based off an illustration or some kind of artwork.
Yeah.
Some are really lewd.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I had to censor some for YouTube just in case,
Yeah.
so you don't get any problems with that. Um, the one on the top left is from Kill la Kill, for example. That was
Okay.
the anime I was talking about. That kind of got me into watching anime and collecting more stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like the variety of it, especially because you get a lot of cool character designs in general. And there are a lot of options especially if it's a more known character. I think you probably get more figures for some anime characters than anything else. Anime merch is pretty crazy. I think there's even some
Yeah.
shampoo and stuff like that by some animes, and it's really weird. But it's fun to collect. I just like that compared to most of the other things I have in my collection, these are pretty colorful. So I think they stand out a bit more, even though they're smaller than most of the other stuff I have.
Cool, man. Cool. Yeah, this is it's actually pretty cool. Um I know it could be showing a lot for some collectors, but I think it's pretty cool, man. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
I think everyone just likes to collect different things, and I can understand why some people wouldn't like it,
Yeah.
but I think there's something for each taste. So just collect what you like and you'll be good. I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people, especially uh, new people who come into the hobby, can be a bit overwhelmed because you always see those incredible collections with, I don't know, 50 statues and all these expensive shelves and stuff like that. But you got to realize that this isn't a competition. You have
Yeah.
to be happy with what you have, and you got to
Oh
work within your
yeah. Yeah.
budget, and that's the point. It doesn't matter what kind of stuff you collect as long as you
Yep.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's the
100%.
most important part. That's why uh, I don't understand if people hate on Funko Pops, for example. I know they get a lot
Yeah.
of shit.
Yeah.
But if people like it, just let them be, let them collect them and be happy with it.
Yeah, and obviously if you're comparing a Funko Pop to like a Prime One, there's no comparison.
Yeah,
But I'm
sure.
pretty sure there's some really cool room tours with nothing but Funko Pops. And I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure they look amazing.
yeah, definitely. I think the way you display your collection is more important than how much you spend on it, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. Because no matter what you have, you can always make it look cool, or you can do the exact opposite. I've seen some people that have the most expensive statues, and I I didn't know what to think when I saw this I think it was an Asian group. There was
Hmm.
some guy that had to put the life-size Terminator bust next to his toilet because he doesn't have any room anymore.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
more about the way you display it.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's always
100%.
interesting to see how people do that, because everyone likes different stuff and
Hmm.
has different ideas, whether it's about collecting or even if it's just the shelving or the lighting or stuff like that. It's always cool to see pics and get some new ideas, maybe.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100% agree. That's why I like room tours so much, is because like you're just able to like you're able to kind of just get different ideas, or hey, I need shows like that too. And um so I think it's amazing. I really do. I think it's cool. Are these two from a different manga?
These two are unlicensed statues.
Okay.
They're both based on the Near Automata video games.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, that's basically it. I really enjoyed the game.
Mhm.
I think it's a it's a masterpiece from the soundtrack to the story, and everything just goes very well together. I think there's also an anime in the making.
Yeah.
But of course, these unlicensed statues are always a bit more sexy than it probably is in the end. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's how it is basically. And I think as long as they look cool, I don't have any issues with it. And even though I buy statues where you have the option to display them nude or whatever, it's mostly about the outfit for me and the
Yeah.
whole vibe I get from it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Cool, man. I could definitely see that. Now, are these two the same character?
Yes, they're the same
Okay.
character. I
Gotcha.
think I sent you another one of the same character. There should be another one, I think,
Yeah.
at some point, but we can talk about that when
Yeah.
we're
No
there.
doubt, man. No doubt.
And
The crazy.
the one on top was the
Uh
one I
huh.
got most recently, the one with
Most
the
recent. Okay.
reverse magnet up the arm.
Oh. Yeah.
I had so many troubles with this.
How did you fix that again?
um, I heated it up a bit with a hairdryer.
Oh. Okay.
I had to
Yeah.
heat it for a really long time, so I'm glad the material or the paint didn't melt. So
Yeah.
luckily everything was good quality aside from that. But
Yeah.
I heated it a bit, then I cut around the magnets with a knife,
Mm-hmm.
and then I uh, took the tip of the knife and basically just pushed it out and used some epoxy putty to glue it back in.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's basically it. Was the first time doing something like that. I usually only have to deal with something being warped or stuff like that. But I guess it's good that I learned something like that in case it happens again.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. For sure.
It's not a common thing though. I never had any issues with magnets like that. But what pissed me off was that you could clearly tell that someone in the factory knew about this and was
Yeah.
trying to put it out and trying to get it out, and it didn't work. And now I'm getting a replacement arm,
Oh, okay.
and
That's good. Yeah. That's good.
yeah, but they're sending it without the magnet. And I got a pic from the shop owner.
Yeah.
You can clearly see that someone had to take a knife and get the fucking magnet out there. So the magnet was already inside, and they removed
Oh
it
boy.
because I had issues the first time. I don't
Nice.
I don't even understand why they would spend so much work to do this when they could have just uh, tried to assemble the arm to a different statue, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It would have saved them a lot of work probably. But yeah, that's I guess that's how they do it.
So I just noticed. Is this a repaint?
No, that's the
No.
regular one. I guess it's because of the flash maybe. I had to take some of the pics with flash, even though I'm usually not a big fan because especially resin looks a bit weird sometimes. You don't see a lot of details. But since I don't have any lighting in my bestas yet, it was the best option, so I'm able to show you something. And yeah, that's just a regular premium format symbiote Spider-Man.
Okay. Cool.
Still one of my favorite pieces. It's so dynamic, and I'm still surprised that there are no issues with leaning or something like that. I
Yeah.
think it's a very well engineered piece.
How long have you had that?
I think it was the third resin statue I got, so about 2 years ago, maybe. So it's not
Okay.
too long, but
Cool.
it's been there for a while.
Now with Carnage, there's been a few Carnages. There's a new one coming out as well, with XM Studios, Sideshow Studios. Do you feel like you will ever upgrade your Carnage?
I've been thinking about pre-ordering the new Sideshow one.
Yeah, I have it on pre-order. I can't wait, man. Can't wait.
Yeah, I've been thinking about buying that one and then deciding which one I like more and then just sell the other one, basically. But I don't think I would like the new one more than this one. I like how fierce he looks, you know? Um, the thing I didn't like about the premium format that came out after this one was that it just looked too human to me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I get
I
that.
know
Like
I,
I
I
had
know a lot of
the
I know a lot of people have problems with him being too bulky and stuff like that,
yeah.
but I kind of like it. It just makes him look more badass, even though I had a rough time assembling the tendrils and shit like that
Mhm.
because I'm not sure if you knew this already, but some were color coded, some were numbered, some
Yeah,
had
I heard
both,
about that.
but none of the numbers or colors fit, or at least some didn't fit. And you didn't get any instructions, so I was checking videos on YouTube to check where everything goes.
Mhm.
And yeah, I somehow managed to do that aside from one tendril, but luckily you can see it that it's missing, so
Yeah.
it's not a big
Yeah.
issue.
Man, that's crazy. Yeah, like I said, I really can't wait for the Sideshow one to come in. I love the scythe on the arm. Um,
Yeah,
I can't wait,
the
man.
pose looks really good too. I'm just not sure what to think about the
Yeah.
base, just like on the Venom piece.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not too sure if I like it, but I think the Carnage itself turned out really good.
I'm okay with the Carnage because the one that I sold was the previous one from Sideshow, and I didn't care for it. So I'm okay with this new one. Now Venom,
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that
I don't know.
myself. I think Sideshow didn't use the best angles to
Yeah.
shoot the promo pics, though. I think some of the pics from the Sideshow Con looked a lot better than that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, but I'm not sure if I like it enough to buy or if I like the mask in one of his hands.
Hmm.
I don't really like the way that looks. But we'll see. I'm still looking for a good Venom for my collection. Um, for my comic book character collection, I definitely want to get a Venom and Wolverine next. But I'm not sure what's going to be the first one because I don't know which one I'm able to get or which ones I can find or if there's a custom I can get. We'll see, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. We will definitely see, man. We will definitely see. This one here is Black Cat, and I had actually looked at this statue of possibly getting before. I think this is one of the top Black Cats out there. I really like it.
I think out of the licensed one, this is my favorite.
Yeah,
I've seen
yeah,
some customs that are better, but especially for the price you pay with Sideshow,
mm-hmm.
and if you like the stylized look, I know that some people don't like it as much,
Mm-hmm.
but I think they did a really good job. I had some issues with the head at the start, but after heating it a bit, it just went in right the way it should be.
Yeah,
And the only thing I dislike about it are the neon tubes
mm-hmm.
in front of the sign because they look a bit cheap. I think they could have done it a bit better, but other than that, I'm really happy with it. This was the second statue I got after Deadpool,
Yeah,
and yeah, I really like the way this looks, and the it's a nice detail that you also have real leather strap on the back of her, and you also have some detail you can't really see from this side because there's some money and jewels flying out of the bag,
Okay.
which is really cool because even though you normally don't see it when you display it like that, it's cool that Sideshow took the time to sculpt it and make it more detailed, even if it's a comic design.
No doubt. No doubt. That's cool, man. So who's this character to the left?
That one's also an original character, so just based on an illustration.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Cool.
it's a big thing in Japan to do bunny girls, so basically
Yeah.
Playboy inspired figures.
Yeah.
And I had a rule that I wouldn't get any bunny figures.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I caved in and got this one, I think a month ago or something. It's also 1/4 scale,
Okay. Okay. Cool.
so a bit bigger than the Black Cat, but I think they would look really nice in the shelf together, especially because with the Hafster you have the separated door, so it's kind of like each has their own frame.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's easier to make different scales look nice together.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree here. Definitely agree. Yeah, man. So this is the a little like a shot of the whole setup. I like the Deadpool there. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
I really like that.
with the Wu-Tang
Yeah,
share the
yeah.
pain controller. I got
Uh,
that one not too long ago too.
okay.
I think it looks cool together, even though it has nothing to do with each other. But since it's only 1/6 scale, I
Mm-hmm.
had some room in it anyways. So I just decided to put that in there too.
Yeah. No doubt, man. That's cool. That's cool. All right. Yeah, I like that, man. I like that. And this, oh, dude, this portrait right here, that's nice. That's
Yeah,
nice.
I got this from uh, an artist on Etsy. I think
Okay.
he's from Turkey, I guess. I think. He's called Elia Works,
Mm-hmm.
and he always does some one of a kind pieces. I think he did 3 busts of this sculpt, but they all had a different paint job. So every piece is a unique statue. I think that's really
Mm-hmm.
cool, especially because he put a lot of details on it. The
Yeah.
jewelry is real jewelry, so it's metal and some kind of stones. I'm not sure what they are. And you also have the option to turn the bust around, and then you have a fan that hides her face a bit.
Yeah.
But I like it more like that. And then the big one is one of the first statues I got from China. Not really unlicensed since it's an original design. It's by Hey the Studio. They did a line called Journey to the West, based on the Chinese novel. And they did a lot of cool character designs for it. But I think this one was by far the most interesting. And yeah, I'm glad I somehow found the space to display it because it's really huge. I think the wingspan is about 70 centimeters. I'm not sure what's that in inches, but it's pretty big. And yeah, it's a
Oh wow,
stunning
yeah,
piece.
28 inches. Yeah, that's definitely yeah, that's big. That's big.
Yeah, it's a stunning piece, especially when you see
Yeah.
all the different colors on the wings and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. they did a really good
Yeah.
job, especially because it was the first statue they produced.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
surprised how they came out. And I'm glad you have these support stands under the wings, because I'm sure it will have some issues in the future. I feel like the wings are hanging a bit lower every
Yeah.
time I have to dust it.
But they complement it very well in terms of like trying to support it. So it fits, you know, it
Yeah,
fits.
definitely. Definitely. I'm glad they included
Yeah.
them, because,
Yeah.
even though
Cool.
there's some kind of steel construction inside, kind of like on the symbiote Spider-Man, which has
Mm-hmm.
a metal rod up his arm and that goes all the way to his chest.
Mm-hmm.
This one also has something like that, but I'm not sure why it's not working, but it's definitely hanging a bit lower than when I got it.
Yeah. All
So it will
right.
be interesting to see how it holds up.
And this is just another shot of the Batman and Deadpool a little bit closer to what we talked about earlier.
Yeah, I tried to
Yeah, that's cool.
take some close-ups of everything.
Oh yeah.
Uh, like I said, the Deadpool was done by Samick Prototypes,
Yeah.
sculpted by Eric Sosa, who did. I think he's mostly known for his Wolverines, because they all
Mm-hmm.
have a unique style, and you can clearly tell that it was done by him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He also does a lot of stuff for uh, custom commissions and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
And
pretty cool, man. That's really, really cool. I like that.
yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, this was the first statue that started all of it.
The first statue, the first one, yeah. It's tough getting rid of that first one. I actually don't have my first one any longer. Uh, but it's not due to it being a bad statue. It was the Mortal Kombat PCS Sub Zero. It was more or less buying a statue because it was so cool of a statue, opposed to like it's actually what you genuinely like, you
Yeah, I get
genuinely
what you
care
mean. Yeah,
about, you know. So
definitely.
that's what that was all. That was for. But yeah, that's cool, man. And here is
The other one,
another character.
again, the one from the Nier Automata video games.
Yeah, yeah,
Same character,
yeah.
another unlicensed piece, and yeah, I think it came out really nice too.
Mm-hmm.
It's also by a new studio. It was supposed to be 1/6, but I think it's probably closer to 1/4 to 1/5 scale. I like that the sword is real metal, like on the other ones too, even though it was
Yeah,
really affordable. The base, to my surprise, was 3D printed, but everything else is just casted resin.
yeah. This is pretty cool. I like the colors, the base, really cool. They even have the like the ground cracking and stuff here.
Yeah, I think they also did
Yeah,
a good job on making it look realistic and have some nice shading in it.
yeah, no doubt, man. This is really, really good piece of art.
Yeah, especially I'm surprised that unlicensed companies are able to do something like that, but you don't
Yeah,
really get any licensed pieces that look nearly as good. It's like that for some franchises at least.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool, man. Cool. I appreciate you sharing some photos. That yeah, definitely cool, man. Everyone's collection is different, and like you said, like I think that's what honestly like makes the hobby really cool. Is like you'll find something different in everybody's collection because we all have different tastes, or some have similar tastes. Like that's the cool thing about it.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because even your taste will change over time, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
When I got back into collecting comics in 2014 or so, um, I also started collecting figures, but it was mostly Marvel Legends, Marvel Select, some NECA horror stuff, and things like that. And then at some point, I was just not really happy with the quality because you always had to fix some loose joints right out of the packaging and stuff like that. At some point, I didn't want to do that anymore, so I got more into premium action figures. I had some of the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat line,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they were really amazing. They did an incredible job, especially on the Goro, I think,
Oh yeah, yeah,
because it's
yeah,
hard. It's just hard to do a big character with
yep,
4 arms that still stands without any issues.
yep,
And I
yeah,
really like what they're doing, even though I don't collect it anymore because it doesn't really fit my collection anymore. And uh, yeah, I just don't have the space. Otherwise, I would have kept them probably. But yeah, it always changes a bit, and I think that's a normal progress. You always find
yeah.
new things you like, and maybe you want to fund the new things by selling the old ones. And
Mm-hmm.
I've pretty much done it like that with all of my collections.
Cool, cool, man. Because that means you don't have to spend too much. Most importantly, you
Yeah,
know,
definitely.
it's hot.
Especially with
Hobby
statues,
ain't
you
cheap,
know.
man. Yeah, cool, man. Cool. Well, there's always a final question that I ask, and it's always the Mount Rushmore question. Um, and if we say like Mount Rushmore of like X-Men, I'm throwing up there Magneto, I'm throwing Wolverine, I'm throwing Deadpool, uh, and fourth would be Gambit. Cyclops honorable mention fifth, but Gambit. What are your who's on your Mount Rushmore? Your top four characters of all time for you?
That's a tough question again. So definitely my first two would definitely be Spider-Man and Venom.
Okay.
I think I think especially because I always liked reading the comics when I was a kid, and I still enjoy the stories, and I just think that the designs are really cool in general, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
And there's a lot of good companies doing cool concepts like that. So you have enough options to get something decent. It's a yeah, they're very popular characters, so you don't have to worry about missing out because there will always be another one.
mm-hmm.
I think that's also a big advantage of those. Just like Wolverine, for example, too. We'll probably get another 100 Wolverines or so. That's always the thing, but
Top character. Yeah,
you
yeah,
have to find the right one for you, you know.
yeah.
And for the last two characters, I would really love to have a good licensed Spawn. That's
Ooh,
one of the
okay.
that's really missing for me. I've seen that McFarlane
And so what I was about to
announced
say, yeah,
announced
yeah,
an the Batman statue, I think. But I'm not sure if they have any plans for Spawn, but I hope so. Because as far as we know, Todd McFarlane doesn't like to give out his
yeah,
license.
yeah,
But a Spawn would definitely be a must have for me. I grew up with the comics too.
yeah,
I um, recently sold the first appearance though because yeah, I had to make money for my statues.
no
But
doubt,
I
man, no
enjoyed
doubt.
it. But I enjoyed it for the time I had it, and
Yeah,
now it's someone else's time to enjoy it, you know.
exactly.
And yeah, I think the last character would definitely be a Wolverine.
Okay.
So nothing too crazy there, but Uh, yeah, just the usual picks, I would say.
Cool, man. Cool, cool. I don't think those are bad. I think that's pretty cool, man.
Thanks, man.
And then and you know and to ask as well, are there any new pre-orders or anything that you have an eye on for that's coming out this year?
I'm the most excited for my first custom comic statue.
Okay.
I recently pre-ordered the V Studio She-Hulk. I'm not sure if you've seen it. This has the weights on top of her shoulders. And when I saw the render of it, I knew I had to get it if this was made into a statue.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
The artist also made a red version of it, I think,
Uh huh.
but only the green one is getting produced so far. They're already working on, so I'm really excited. And yeah, other than that, I mostly have more near automata stuff on order. It doesn't end with those near statues. But
Yeah.
I guess the She-Hulk is probably the most interesting.
She-Hulk, okay, yeah. I think She-Hulk is going to be a character that a lot of people who maybe forgot about the character or people who never knew about the character, they're really going to learn about it with the Disney Plus show coming out, as well as I think we're going to start seeing a lot more artwork and statues and more comics coming to front. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I kind of
definitely.
got that feeling, you know.
Definitely. I feel like as soon as the series starts, there will be a bunch of statues or figures or merchandise in general.
Hmm.
But I think it's always cool if characters who aren't that well known anymore get back into the spotlight, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's a really cool thing. That's why I also like the Marvel series and that they actually produce the series like that.
Yeah.
Especially because a lot of times it's something you wouldn't necessarily expect, like the Moon Knight, for example.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
It's not a popular character, but they decided to do it, and I'm sure it's good. I still haven't seen any of it.
I haven't either, man. I'll probably start checking it out next week. You know, that way I can have half of it to check out, and then I'll just continue it from there. Or I might just wait. You know, it's so much to watch sometimes, or it's I'll
Yeah,
get
you
to it.
gotta find the time
Yeah.
to do that, and yeah, get what's
Yeah.
going on and stuff like that. Especially Moon Knight. I read some of the comics and they can be pretty confusing. So you got to take your time for a
Hmm.
series like that, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And lastly, to ask, is there anything you would tell your younger self far as collecting? Would it be anything financially or space or what to collect? Any tips you would give a younger you?
I don't think so. I always like to collect the stuff I enjoyed at the moment, whether it
Okay.
was CDs or movies.
Hmm.
But I didn't get too attached to anything. So whenever there was
Oh.
something I liked more, I tried to figure out how I could make the old stuff found the other one.
Oh,
And
okay. I see it. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
pretty much the way I always did it.
Yeah.
Luckily, I uh, either have good taste or just good luck, so that some of
Hmm.
the things I buy just go up in value, even though I don't speculate or anything. And yeah, that way, luckily, you don't have to sell as much as you would if it
So
didn't go up.
so if I had 11 arcades, right? I had 11 arcades. I sold two of them. I had 11 arcades. I sold 2. For the most part, I was able to get my money back. So I was very happy with the return. I was happy. I'm down to 9 arcades left. However, out of those 9, I really only want to keep 4 of them. So that would be 5 of them that I have to sell. And I'm selling them because I never play them. They're just there. I'll have
Yeah,
to throw them in
that's the
another
thing. I thought about getting one of those arcade one-up Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat arcade
Not
machines, but I don't think
pack.
I would play it that often. It would just
Well, see,
be decoration for the
and
most
that's
part,
what it becomes. But that's why I'm asking. Like, so I'm gonna keep the 4. I'm gonna keep Pac-Man, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and Marvel vs. Capcom. The other 5 I would sell. I don't want to sell them, but I know I'm never gonna use them. I know they're just gonna be there at least for another year or
Yeah,
2 before I would
you
even
can
use them.
probably use the space better for something else,
So do
or
you feel like you
something you
would
like more.
sell it to fund a new statue, to pay a
If
bill, maybe anything?
if you're completely sure that you only want to keep a certain number of it, I would go with it.
Based on the current space I have, I could store them somewhere else, but even then, they would just be stored there for another 2 years. You'd never get, you know what I mean? Like, I don't foresee a scenario where,
I would probably just
yeah, I
just
just
sell
don't.
them and keep the ones you really enjoy and
Okay.
really play, whether it's by yourself with some friends or your kids.
Yeah.
Just keep the things you enjoy and you
But that's the
can.
thing, man. It's tough selling stuff sometimes
Yeah,
because
I
it's
know what
like,
you mean. Yeah,
what if I never get it back? What if I don't know. It's tough sometimes. It gets tough, you know.
yeah, I totally understand that. I regretted selling some of my stuff, but it was never too bad. I never felt like I would never have the option again to get it back. You
Hmm.
know, I think no matter what it is, there's always someone who's willing to part with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And especially with things like arcade machines that take up a lot of space. And yeah, like you said, people like to play it at the beginning, and
Yep.
then it
Yep.
just stands there and looks cool. But
Yep.
I think a lot of them also sell them just because they need the space for something else.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna just go ahead and take the pictures, go ahead and list them, in the local market, so somebody can come pick them up and get what you can get for them. Because at this point, they're just there. You know, what I mean, they're just there. I'd love to keep them. Like have a whole room that would be nothing but an arcade. And I thought about that. What if I keep them and I could transform this into that? But then I'm like, even that would be 2-3 years away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if you put them in storage, of course you
Yeah.
have to pay for that one too.
Yep. Have to pay
And
for
you
that.
you
And
still have costs even if you
yeah.
are
Yeah.
never going to use them again.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
think it might be better to, yeah, make another collector happy with them.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt, man. No doubt. Well, man, this has been episode 34 of the Cash and Out show. I want to say thank you a lot to our guests, Mock Collectibles. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you coming, having a chat. This is the first pre-recorded episode, so that's pretty cool, actually. Didn't know how it was gonna go, but I think we did very well. So I hope everybody who is watching this live, when you guys are watching it live, I hope you guys are having a good time. And I'll be in the chat as well, interacting with you guys when I throw it up, so therefore I could respond if anybody has any questions or whatever. And then here is also my email down below, KashDaGemini29@gmail.com. If anybody is interested in hopping on the show, you guys are more than welcome to hop on for an episode and we could do a one-on-one together. Or even on the Saturday Night Live show, we always leave it open for one guest with and then I'll have a panel of 5 other guys, so it'll be a total of 6 of us. You guys can hop on there as well and have a good time. But again, Mark, I appreciate you coming and chatting, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate the invitation, and it was cool having a talk with you. I think we had a good talk, and it was fun to discuss some things, and just have a chill talk about what we like and collections. And I think it's always fun to talk about that with other collectors. And I think you're doing a cool thing, and I hope you keep it up and do your thing.
Yeah. And like I always tell other people, about coming on, you yourself as the guest, if you have anyone that a friend, a fellow collector, whoever that you think would be interested in, or even just kind of doing a video of their collection, certainly pass it on. They're more than welcome to come, or even just do a room tour for the channel. That would be cool. I always tell people, if you guys if you guys are camera shy, or if you don't have a camera, we can do it the same way we did now, with just a image on the screen, and still have a good show, man. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. So maybe we'll have another talk someday.
Oh yeah, for sure, man, for sure. I definitely would like to bring you back on, man. We'll talk comics or something. I'll have like a comic show or something. We'll get a couple comic guys and have a good time.
Yeah, we'll be able to do something like that.
Yeah, for sure, man. Everybody out there, this has been episode 34 of the Kashing Out Show. Thank you guys for coming. Cash out.
Put some cash in your life. Put some cash in your life. If your cash ain't right, if your cash